I bet a lot of you right now are going to be surprised that something as simple as comparison is ruining your life. So, what do I mean by that? Well, comparison is obviously it is something that comes out naturally. It's a natural reaction and emotion we have when we see something, whether it's online, whether it's a close family member or a friend. We tend to have that emotion when we feel like someone is doing something better than us, let's say, or they are taking a step towards achieving something that we are too scared to take. So we end up comparing ourselves that we are not doing enough and that we are not good enough and we are never capable of being in that position in our life. And unfortunately, we can't really control comparison from not happening right now because we live in a time and place where pretty much everyone's life is exposed, either on social media or by random news and websites on the internet. And we can't help to not be exposed to seeing these things. And right now, one thing we need to learn is that comparison it's not something that is going to go away. There is no such thing as an emotion disappearing. We all feel these things for a certain reason. They are within the biological mechanisms of our body, and comparison is one of them. The thing about comparison is that we need to learn how to control it by identifying the positive comparison and the negative comparison. Because, funny enough, comparison can actually be good for you at some point. But because we are always exposing ourselves to the negative type of comparison, that's why we end up ruining our lives. So, starting with that, the negative comparison, this happens when you sometimes see someone living a life that seemingly looks perfect while you have issues in our own. Well, newsflash, people show you what they want you to see, whether that's online or whether that's in real life. So don't be so controlled by the aesthetics and what you see to the point that you forget that these people are just like us. They have hidden problems. They were driven by a life situation probably to become what we see today in real life or on the internet. So once you understand that fact, you start to feel better that unfortunately sometimes what we see is a mask or is actually fake. So you also need to understand that comparison it comes up when you are not doing a lot of things in your life. As much as that's bitter and it's the ugly truth, if you are someone who's not pursuing anything in your life, you will be so controlled by what other people are doing and you will waste your time by seeing what they are doing because you do not have a time where you can focus on yourself or work towards something that is beneficial to you. You're sacrificing your time to see what other people are doing because you couldn't find out what is my goal in life or what am I supposed to do, what is the type of routine I want to pursue, what is an important thing or highlight in my day that I can't wait to get to. Because you couldn't identify these things, you are wasting your time with this comparison, which ends up being this type of negative comparison that you get lost into and become like a spiral within your life that you go back and forth between this game between comparing yourself and others. So, actually, the first thing that you need to do to control yourself from this negative comparison is that you need to sit with yourself. You need to ask yourself these questions. What am I lacking that I cannot be in this position one day? What are my strengths and flaws? What are my goals? What are my dreams? Who am I? Because right now, the price you are paying in comparison is the answer to these questions. These questions are basically the tools and the action plan that are going to lead you to the path that you were always meant to walk on. And it's very tough to sit with yourself actually and identify what you want because, again, you are so influenced by what the people around you are doing. Sometimes you end up making certain goals or dreams that are not even your own. So it's very important that when you sit down right now, you are so honest with yourself and who you are, and to not be afraid by writing down a goal without being defined as what people say or what are the standards of what other people have in their own lives in terms of their goals and dreams. So you need to sit down and be who you are within yourself within this time, especially because sometimes if you're going through this phase of comparison and feel like something is missing, Actually, this phase is the phase where you're supposedly transforming. You are becoming the version of yourself that you want to be when you start questioning yourself by how you are wasting your time by comparing yourself with other people, while you can put that time into doing something that makes you feel happy, fulfilled, and can actually be put in to work towards a goal or dream that you've had for a long time. So, unfortunately, what also possesses us to start comparing ourselves is the standards of society. And society sometimes puts in very unrealistic things that by that age you're supposed to have that, or by that age you're supposedly perfect, you have to be successful. And once you reach that age, you would feel like, oh my God, I'm a failure. Well, funny enough, life is not a race. Life is a journey. It's a journey about creating yourself, who you are, what you want to be, and making a life that is meaningful to you. Living a life that fulfills you mentally, physically, spiritually, whatever it is. It just needs to be a life that you are satisfied with, not based on what you see online or within the people that you have around you. So, how do I get myself away from this negative comparison? It always starts off with the type of things you watch and the type of people you associate with. The more like minded these people are, the more they are pursuing a path that is similar to you, the more likely you will stop comparing yourself negatively. That's when positive comparison plays through. Positive comparison happens when you start seeing people as an inspiration or motivation towards achieving the things that you want in your own life without seeing them as competition. So, when you get into a phase where you are like this, you are communicating with people who have the same goals as you, or they have achieved something you have always thought about achieving, this is when you start positively comparing yourself with them. You will start to feel like, oh, the things that I want to achieve are actually possible. There are people who are doing it. And you don't have to necessarily do it in the same way they do. You can do it in your own unique way and become whatever you want to be. And when you start to finally see these people as mentors, they are guides towards whatever you want to have in your life, you will feel a very different type of feeling that is of peace and serenity, because we sometimes get into comparison to the point where we start to feel emotions like anger and sadness because we are not in that position in our life. But once we use it in a way that is positive to us, we start to feel like we are people who are capable of achieving anything. You know, you start to get these positive emotions. You start to put in the work to achieve the things that you want in your own life. So, comparison is something that can be controlled in terms of the perspective that you see it from. So, right now, to start this journey of letting go of the way you compare yourself, start comparing yourself positively. That's when you build a new perspective in your mind about comparison, because the type of comparison we are used to is always negative. However, if we start to preach it in a positive way, trust me, there is no going back. And since you stumbled on this video today, I want you to finally take the time to look into yourself, discover yourself, who you are, and realize your self potential, and understand that your presence is irreplaceable. We are all unique, and our presence is important in many aspects in life, and we all have something to give to the world to make it a better place. And trust me, once you finally take the time to pursue yourself, you'll be surprised with how much capable you are in achieving your dreams and becoming the version of yourself that you always wanted to be, and become an inspiration towards others, just like the people you see online or your role models in real life. I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for the next video on Friday, and I'll see you soon.